My first visit was as a producer making science programs and looking for sales co-production to make science series, and my impression was how huge the world of TV was. I'd never seen anything as big as this marketplace, and the Palais was an incredible sort of treasure trove of contacts and so on. And I then was here trying to really run a big poker game to help fund what was the most expensive factual series ever to be made at that time, which was Walking with Dinosaurs, which is the first time we'd really brought full-scale CGI to a television project. This is off after Jurassic Park. And we had to go to different partners or potential partners and say, you have to be in at a really high level or this will not look convincing. We need to be able to really make it look like you're being transported back in time to the age of dinosaurs. And so the partners we ended up with were fantastically high quality partners. NHK, RAI, ProSieben, Discovery, and of course BBC and BBC Worldwide. And without that set of partners and without the kind of, in a way, the nature of this market, we probably could not have funded it the way we did. And it went on to be the biggest biggest rated factual series ever, both in pay in the US on Discovery and on BBC One in the UK and so on. So it was a way of trying to make something happen that had never happened before. And MIP was the place to do those deals. When you think of television, I mean, the 60s was an absolutely, obviously, formative time of television. We had Ed Sullivan. My background, Ed was in America. Ed Sullivan. We had, powerful news broadcast, and of course, the Kennedy assassination and so on were really dominant. But at the same time, MIP was starting to create the international market and to represent the fact that television was going to be a powerful medium which kind of in a way flowed across the world. And that's moved into digital now, into paid television and that revolution. And MIP's kind of kept slightly ahead of the times and tried to reflect the changes that are going to come up as well in the marketplace, which is now truly international in the sense that it's not just an export market. It's that the market's being made here by new players all the time as well. In terms of TV itself, I think there have been, in a way, numbers of sort of revolutions, from free to air to pay television is a major one, but also digital and, in a way, extra routes to market, multi-screen, whether that's an OTT player like maybe a Hulu or Netflix, Amazon, Google, but also multi-screen viewing and TV everywhere. But above all of that, there's this resilience of television as a form that viewers still want great stories, well told, and they're not dropping long form for short form. They're adding more types of television to their viewing habits. But what's amazing about this whole set of revolutions is that the viewership to great stories well told and with even better quality, cinematic quality, is still what the public consumers, viewers want on whatever screen. I think it's the sort of, sometimes it's really the late nights in the bar, Martinez or wherever. It's partly the fact that you can meet off-site as well as have a set of, numbers of very, very efficient business meetings, but actually that you can do both here, and that there are some formative moments which were kind of not necessarily in the Palais, but actually off-site, where that is also where you clinch the deal or agree to do some interesting and bold project. So, I've had did a really big one called the Inside the Human Body, which only happened. There was an incident, I think, in the fountain outside. Everybody's having a good time, but actually, having a good time is part of it too. And I remember that was one of the things that led to us doing this really major co-production project. The business meetings were here, but we clinched the deal outside. So
right.
It's partly the atmosphere, to be honest. There'll be a search for more and more cinematic quality, and that will help to drive 3D, but also more importantly probably super high resolution formats which are already here in prototype. There'll be this quest for more immersion, in other words, more immersive viewing experiences. I think that will be one trend. Where that goes will depend on creativity and creative execution in terms of what is the most enjoyable experience as well. And I think things like augmented reality, more immersive sound, all those technical ways of improving the quality of the viewing experience will be explored, I think. And there'll be a quest for, as ever, funding to make the most exceptional things happen, and the market hopefully can respond to that. And I think there'll also be an explosion in ways of finding advertising, routes of to advertise in a more personal way, and there'll be a massive improvement on the use of data. And who holds that data will be one of those interesting, sort of almost economic questions as well for the future, hugely. And the other important thing will be the way that international content can flow through the internet in the future. Who makes that add to value will be one of the winners. And in other words, we will shift from regional markets to global markets in some ways. How that's done will be an incredibly important economic question of whether you can retain budgets which allow for good things to be made, to be shown globally, will be one of those massive questions in about 10 years' time, maybe before that as well. Because we already have the players today who can do it. The OTT players can make something truly global with a kind of in an instant. The question is whether that hurts value or drives value.